Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes,
indeed.
and today we're going to be talking about the lack of lady engineers or female engineers in Malaysia. I mean, engineering, it's a tough sort of a thing to do. I think my dad studied engineering, if I'm not wrong.
Well, I did civil engineering. I did.
What? You did engineering?
I did, yeah. Civil engineering at Queen Mary College, University of London.
No,
I did.
Way. Are you serious?
I am serious. Can you imagine me in a hard hat? On a construction site with a tool belt around me.
Yeah, totally. Of course I can. I got Bob the Builder.
I'm happy. Yeah, Bob the Builder, indeed.
Well, there we go.
This wasn't my calling. I tried it.
Well,
for a while.
And okay, well, when you did engineering, did you notice many ladies in your classes?
Well, actually, I remember there was a girl from China and another girl from Greece. I remember her. I can't remember her name, but I remember her well because she fell in love with a Turkish guy. And of course, the Greeks and the Turks, they hate each other.
Right.
So there's all this drama in my class, in my year anyway.
West Side Story.
Very West Side Story.
But what, just two of them out of the whole...
Yeah, but two of them only.
Out of the whole class.
Out of the whole class.
So that's not a small number.
It's a dismal
It is a dismal number. And actually, there was an article recently published in The Star which said there's a misconception keeping women away from engineering. And of course, this is from University Tunku Abdul Rahman, Director of Institute of Postgraduate Studies and Research, Professor Dr. Lee Si Wei. And apparently, they were saying during classes they see very few girls, and there's a perception that engineers get their hands dirty, but the truth is that many engineers work in office environments these days. It's not all just technical, it's also sales, design, research, sometimes even television, as you can see.
But the thing is, to do engineering you need to be good, and I had to do physics, pure maths and applied maths for my A-levels, of course, and girls are actually very good at maths.
They are.
Physics and pure maths and applied maths. So she really should consider engineering.
Well, to tell us a little bit more...
And it is glamorous as well, I think.
It can be glamorous. And to tell us a little bit more about the lack of women engineers in Malaysia, we have with us on set today two guests this morning. We have Datuk Rosaline Ganendra, the Director of MinConsult. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yes.
And we also have Dr. Haji Abdul Rashid Maidin, a member of the advisory board to DVKL. Thank you both for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you very much for coming on the breakfast show, and looking very nice in your batik ensemble. Yeah?
Today is Thursday.
Oh, Thursday.
So I'm feeling kind of outnumbered now with all the engineers in the...
never mind.
There we go. Okay, so why do you think there are so few female... Well, first of all, how small is the number of female engineers in the country?
In the BEM, the Board of Engineers, where all engineers need to register, there are about 60,000 engineers now.
Okay, 60,000?
Yeah, and only about 10% are ladies, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, only 10%.
But why do you think that is so, though? Why is engineering not that attractive, choice for women?
Well, there is an image problem at the moment. There is a misconception like the one that you gave just now, that engineers wear hard hats and tool belt. I've never worn a tool belt.
You're looking very elegant.
Yeah, this is what I wear to office.
You don't have your galoshes underneath the big yellow...
No, I don't.
Right.
It's technical in nature, it's intellectual in nature. You need to understand mathematics, to understand physics. So you don't need to wear a tool belt.
Well, it's a lot of theory and planning and things like that, right?
I mean, occasionally you do have to visit sites.
Of course, and you need the hard hat. It's a safety feature.
But having said that, I know people who were working on, the pavilion, and they had their communications executives, these ladies in stilettos.
with hard hats.
With hard hats. So it doesn't matter what business you're in. You can get your hands dirty in any business, or not get your hands dirty in any business.
Well, engineers don't necessarily get their hands dirty all the time.
I believe that the misconception is, I think, it's been created in a manner where traditionally they feel that it is a male career, which is definitely not right. In fact, in most of the conventions that I've joined, in many studies they've created, they always start by saying this is a male career, so therefore male should start being in this engineering field. But unfortunately, we have a big problem now that most of the universities has overtaken more ladies engineers now.
Really?
Yes, recently. And I don't want to quote which university, but some universities have gone one step further. If you are male, you are even given extra points.
No way. Are you serious?
If you're male, you're given extra points.
Because you can't get male
And so
male guys
more
joining
women
to join engineering?
Yes.
What are they joining? Like hairdressing?
Maybe the marimpis.
Hey, they're good though. Motorbikes, they're not bad, right?
But the unfortunate part, I mean, whether we like it or not, there are more there are more girls who are excel in education.
Right,
They do
yes.
better in education.
Wow.
Taking engineering is not easy.
Well, of course, there's different fields. Of course, like, Datuk, may I ask you what engineer are you? What?
I'm a civil engineer.
Oh, you're both civil engineers. Datuk,
We're both
you're a
civil
I was
engineer.
engineer.
Oh, so you're all civil engineers.
We're
Yes,
all
there
civil
we
engineers.
go.
We really
Wow.
are outnumbered today.
Yeah.
But I think that's a phenomenon now in university. If you look at the number of graduates in Malaysia that's graduating, you'll find that about 70% are females. When they come in on the undergraduate level, I think it's probably about 50-50. But boys tend to not stay and drop out earlier. And now it's 70% general, overall.
Really?
Yes, in the technical field, engineering, it's 60%.
Gosh.
Yeah, so it is a phenomenon that's happening now.
Here's the question. I mean, when these ladies come out of engineering with a degree and everything, do the firms also, I mean, do the engineering companies or all these places, is it harder for them to find work as well? Or does the sexism not sort of carry forth?
There is no discrimination.
There is no discrimination. So it's
totally
just
not
misconception.
Yes, misconception.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
In fact,
Misconception.
they hit very important positions in the country, and in fact, the universities today are hit by ladies now.
Yeah.
So they
Well,
get
I can attest to that actually. I'm rightly so. I think I'm very proud of my niece who graduated from Imperial. She
Very
did
clever.
chemical engineering, and of course working with Shell in Amsterdam. She's back
Nice.
here now. So no discrimination
Okay.
at all.
Well,
But
that's
then the reason why I asked whether you're a civil engineer, Dato', is because there are many sort of fields. Yeah, you can be a chemical engineer, mechanical, electrical engineer. So I wonder whether there's any engineering that's perhaps more attractive to
ladies?
To ladies.
Well, again, harping on what Dato' is saying, engineering is based on equality. There's no gender preference, meritocracy, basically. So if you choose any field of engineering, you are bound to encounter things which require your technical ability.
Right.
It also requires your socio-personal skills, because engineering is also about teamwork. Everything that you see today, the water you drink, the power supply, this room, this building, all required engineers to work in a team to build. So whether you want to become a civil or electrical or chemical engineer, it depends on what you prefer and enjoy doing.
Yeah.
We enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah.
Conflict resolution, teamwork, nation building. That's what engineers do.
Nation builders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are
Well,
nation builders.
we
Everything that you see, everything that you touch.
not only that we consider ourselves as nation builders, but we are also nation movers. We are already reached a stage where I believe that there's so many of our engineers today are in the policy making stage. We have some ministers who are engineers today. In fact, in China, the president and the deputy president, all are engineers.
They're all engineers?
They're all engineers.
Well, because it's one of the big three, right? You know, whenever kids, they say you got to go to university, you'll be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer.
That's right, yeah.
That's right. And and doctors are a bit really too hard.
You're talking about doctors, lawyers. I would like to say this. Maybe we talk about why there are less women engineers. Actually, I think we are going to face some big problems. Basically, in no time, the ladies will make up the numbers. And we couldn't get men into the faculties for many obvious reasons. We don't see clever men anymore. They are becoming, they have other priorities.
Right.
And what is more scaring is, I think, the remuneration.
Yes, I think that's
Being an engineer. See, we are at the top of the class. I remember that my classmates who are art graduates, who are today lawyers, who are doctors, to a certain extent, having good big fat salaries, whereas we are still struggling.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
people felt by being an engineer, how much can you earn?
Yeah, true.
So I think that is the problem.
Because you're right, though. I saying that being top of the class, because you have to be in the science stream,
Yeah,
and
of
then
course.
you
Yeah.
become an engineer.
That's
You're
right.
in the art stream, then you opt for something else. But remuneration, yeah, that's a major issue. I also wonder whether one